Okay, let's do this. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm calling tonight's meeting of the Falmouth Planning Board to order. Today is February 10th. It is 6:30, and we are meeting at Falmouth Town Hall. My name is John Drewley. I am the current chair of the Planning Board. Before we begin, I would like to remind everyone that this is a public meeting and is being conducted in accordance with Massachusetts open meeting law. Please take a moment to silence any mobile devices or electronics to avoid interruptions. Anyone wishing to speak should come to the podium. Wait to be recognized by the chair and state their name for the record before making remarks. We encourage respectful and constructive dialogue during public comment periods. Thank you. We'll now proceed to the first item on the agenda, which is public comment. If anyone wishes to speak about something that is not on the agenda this evening, please come to the podium, state your name, and tell us what you'd like to tell us.
Mr. Chairman, can be lazy and just do it right here, be real quick?
Oh, you want to do it?
Yeah, two things, really fast.
Okay, gotta be lazy, though.
No, I know. I just wanted to say special thanks to the DPW. I am really challenged in dealing with snow and ice in this terrible storm, and going to stores and not being able to buy ice melt and traveling everywhere and going to my mind and be able to pull up the DPW and take out my shovel and get salt and ice to save myself and make it to get into my house. I wouldn't even be able to live my home if that wasn't available. I just want to thank them for doing that. I couldn't find it, and I have to go there all the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome, all done.
And then one last thing, I wanted to mention Saturday, the 14th, we are having a Valentine's Day concert at the Falmouth Station. I'm now involved in putting music events, and we're having 3 different bands playing from 3 to 6 and giving away Ben and Bill's chocolate, hot chocolate and cookies, and everyone's welcome to a music concert on Valentine's Day from 3 to 6, and you go out to dinner later.
And where is the Falmouth Station?
Falmouth Station, if people don't know where it is. That's why we're doing this. It's at 59 Depot Street. It's owned by the EDIC. It's the old train station, and it's the bus station, Falmouth Station, and we're now back involved having events there and doing more. It's a free event, and the band's playing for free, and it's just a fun time for Valentine's Day.
All right,
Thank you very much. Sorry to be lazy, just be quicker.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's public comment. And anyone else? No? Okay. I would like to go to the minutes for January 27th.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the January 27th, 2026 minutes will be approved at our next planning board meeting.
All right, thank you.
Not 26.
January 27th, 2026, right?
Yeah. 2026, right. All right, the first hearing on our agenda tonight is approval not required for, you want to read it, Tom?
You just read it from the agenda.
Yes.
The agenda.
You have it.
What am I reading?
Plan of land.
Here? Okay, approval not required. Applicant Alvar Pearsall Jr., TT, plan of land to divide a parcel into 2 lots for conveyance purposes located at 0 Cloverfield Way, in parentheses, map number 0602-012-000, 133 Cloverfield Way and 121 Cloverfield Way, filed February 3rd, 2026. Do I need to read the last? Okay, good enough.
So the plan meets all the requirements of an A&R, so I suggest that you guys endorse it.
You suggest what?
We endorse it.
Endorse it.
I move endorsement.
Wait.
Yes?
Sorry.
The writing on it is so tiny, even with my readers on, I cannot make out the frontage on those 2 funny little lots. So could you please describe those funny little lots and what are they?
So those 2 funny little lots in the front are actually 1 lot, and they're splitting it in half and giving it each part to the existing bigger lots.
So they're giving it away.
For
dividing it.
conveyance purposes, yes.
So the frontage doesn't matter?
Nope.
It's just that, okay.
Yep.
So Charlotte, up on the screen is what you're looking at.
I had to blow it up at home.
2 little lots.
Oh,
This lot being conveyed to this lot, same over to the left.
thank you.
Welcome.
Now you can go ahead.
Motion to endorse?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. The next public hearing is applicant Fashion Foods LLC, special permit application to allow a portion of the restaurant parking to be located in the front yard, and for 18 parking spaces on the south side of the lot to be within 5 feet of the property line at 0 Worcester Court, map 39, 15048-001B. I want to ask first if there's any member of the public who wants to make any comment or any questions about this. No? Okay. Mr. Ahmet?
Thanks, Mr. Julie. To begin with, I'd like to ask the board to take the site plan review matter up before the special permit, because the board can't act on the special permit without considering the site plan review decision. And also, I point out that the board tonight is a 5-member board. A special permit requires 5 votes. That would be 5 out of 5 tonight instead of 5 out of 6, which is a disadvantage to the applicant, of course. And having the site plan review decision only requires a simple majority of those voting, so that would be 3 out of 5. So I'd like, for both those reasons, I'd like you to take up the site plan review first.
All right. Then we'll do site plan review first. Review application for proposed 2,819 square foot, 36-seat Wendy's fast food restaurant with drive-through at 0 Worcester Court, map number 39, 15048-01B.
Mr. Chair, if I can just interrupt for a minute.
Sure.
The applicant did request an extension of the deadline because we passed the deadline extension already. So there is an email in the packets that I will give to, you have it?
I have it here.
That needs to be read, and then you guys can vote on it to extend the deadline decision.
If we don't want to extend it.
I don't know.
Oh, what happens then?
Not good things.
Not good, okay. Tom, do you want to read it, please?
Sure. So this is an email from Bob Arment dated Wednesday, January 28, 2026, to Melinda Tondera and Judd Cornack, Planning Department. Melinda, the extension date you suggest is after the next ZBA hearing. I'd like to request consent to extending the deadline for filing the SPR decision until February 13th, 2026. Is this okay? Bob?
Someone needs to make a motion.
Motion, please.
I move to extend.
Second?
Could we discuss this for just a minute?
Sure.
Okay, we've been looking at this project several times. I thought tonight we were ready to act on it. And why then is an extension?
He explained it earlier.
So
But I didn't agree with it.
the extension, the deadline was January 28th. So we're past January 28th, so we have to extend it.
Oh, just a
Not valid.
technicality.
Just a technic, yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. This has been before you at a few hearings now, and I don't want to repeat what we said before. And also, I've submitted last week a letter that I thought was quite responsive to some of the issues. But I think it is worth just telling you what's changed about the plan since the matter was back previously before the planning board, and the latest plan, which the planning board has, is a plan last revised on January 23. So I'll just tell you what the changes are. This walkway has been slightly relocated so that it extends from the building to the location of the handicap crosswalk, and that crosswalk's going to be rebuilt to ADA standards by the applicant. We also show that we're going to eliminate this little bit of pavement that continues the sidewalk past the corner itself and leads to a destination that's not a safe place to cross, as opposed to a few feet to the north. So that sidewalk gets eliminated. We've also removed the patio roof, and that's shown on the plan. I think we said we were going to do that at the last meeting. That reduces lot coverage to 5.8%. As you know, 40% lot coverage by structures would be allowed, so this is a very small building. We've shown along here a fence, 4 foot high, a decorative fence, but one which has an important purpose, a couple purposes actually. One is to discourage people from coming from Spring Bars Road near the the curb cut, up and thinking they can get here quickly. So this fence should prevent that. People want to walk all the way along here and safely cross at this crosswalk, that would be fine. But it is just as short to just use the existing sidewalk, come up the walk that's proposed up to the building. So that fence has that purpose of discouraging people crossing the traffic aisles. It also serves the purpose of protecting anybody in this area, such as children perhaps playing on lawn, from the drive-through queue. So that's a change to the plan. The plans also have a detail of light poles that's been added as requested by the town planners. Along the southerly property line, we've more than doubled, maybe not more than doubled, but increased to 20 the number of bollards that's shown on the plan, so that they're only 6 feet apart to provide a better barrier to protect this building if cars were to go across the property line. And that was a suggestion, a concern that Mr. Zine had. The plans also show an alternative, which would be to have a guardrail, a wooden guardrail, a continuous all along this line. Your proposed decision that the staff has prepared doesn't identify that alternative, but I think either one of those things would work, and the guardrail might be less expensive to install. We also have revised the grading for the exit curb cut. It now has a substantially larger flat area at the bottom, and the grades now meet the requests of the grading and drainage meets the standards of the engineering department. We eliminated a French drain that was proposed to take care of a little bit of the water. Raul Lizardi Rivera, the engineer who's here, was able to redesign this to avoid that French drain but still take care of the drainage. And the engineering department, in its last referral to the planning board and the Board of Appeals, has agreed that this design is okay. So those are changes that were made to the plan, and for all the reasons that I've written to you about and said previously, we think that this is a plan that should be approved, both special permit and the site plan review, which is before us right now. I note that the applicant has agreed at its expense to do everything that the consultant engaged by the Board of Appeals at the applicant's expense, the traffic expert, suggested. The traffic engineer, the town's traffic engineer, agreed with the conclusions of the applicant's expert, but made some recommendations. They are listed in an addendum that I prepared, gave to the staff, and is attached to your site plan review draft decision. And these are all things that would be done at the applicant's expense prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the building. We're going to reconstruct the existing wheelchair ramps and crosswalks that do not comply presently with ADA requirements. We're going to install pedestrian crossing and intersection ahead warning signs properly designed with reflective tape on them. We're going to install LED solar-powered flashing stop signs on each side of the intersection on Spring Bars Road. We're going to install speed radar signs on the Worcester Court approaches. And then these additional improvements have been recommended by the ZBA's expert. Installed double yellow centerline pavement markings, install white edge lines along both sides of the streets, and reapply stop lines on Spring Bars Road using high visibility plastic markings. The town's expert, that is the ZBA's expert, agreed that the driveways will operate safely and that the impacts from the increased traffic trips will be minor, but made these recommendations. We would suggest that the intersection is going to be substantially safer for pedestrians and for motorists with these improvements as part of the project, so that the benefits from the project outweigh any detriment, any minor impacts there might be. Any questions? I'll try to answer them, and Raul is here also to answer questions.
Thank you. Any questions, Charlotte? Jim? Paul? Tom? Okay, no questions. So we're going to close the hearing for the special permit?
No,
Site-
we're just on the
Site plan.
site plan review. You can take public comment if there's any for the site plan review, and
Okay.
then you can.
And you mentioned special permit, but I think we're hearing the site plan review now.
Okay. Any comments from the public? Any questions? The podium, please, and your name.
Good evening, Linda Clark, Falmouth Housing Corporation, the owner of 41 Spring Bars Road. I guess this is probably the third or fourth time I've been here. I do have, again, some concerns. At the last meeting, Attorney Ahmed suggested that there were no accidents in 2025 at that intersection. And based on the packet I did submit, I think you've seen it, there were actually 4 accidents, one reported by the Falmouth Police Department, and 3 reported from MassDOT through the portal. I don't know if you can make any improvements to that intersection unless you put a traffic light. I feel like it's a very, very dangerous situation. At the last meeting, I did have to leave, but I did request that Mr. Ahmed answer a question on the amount of traffic that Wendy's will generate daily. And it was stated 120 to 140 cars additional daily in that area. And I want to ask the question, Mr. Ahmed will come up and answer, I'm assuming. Is that in December or is that in August? I mean, where did these numbers come from? Is it going to be 200? 250 in August, and these are numbers that come from December. Attending the ZBA meeting, the peer reviewer for the traffic study, I did ask him about the driveway coming out of our complex, if he calculated any cars, and he said no, he would look at it. I don't know if I heard that wrong. And I also asked the question about across the street on Worcester Court. with the traffic coming out of Cappy's and the plaza, and he said he was going to look at that as well. Maybe I didn't hear that right. I don't think I'm wrong in this. I'm wondering, so the peer reviewer, he wouldn't attend any of the planning board meetings? It's just ZBA?
He could have attended, absolutely.
He could have.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that there was a lot more information at the ZBA meetings that the planning board is not aware of, as far as the traffic study is concerned.
All right, thank you.
And as far as the noise, again, a speaker's a speaker. I don't believe that we're not going to hear any noise from a speaker on a directly abutting property in the dwelling units. Thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Ahmed.
For the umpteenth time, although maybe it's not that many, the traffic studies were done in August of 2024. The peer reviewer has stated that the methodology used and the conclusions were correct. Ms. Clark apparently did not receive, would have been inappropriate for me to send it to her, but she didn't get from the board my correspondence of February 3 of this year, just a week ago, where we pointed out that the information from Mass DOT cannot be relied upon after 2022, is not allowed to be submitted into court proceedings by federal law, and is subject to correction. I never said that there were no traffic accidents at the intersection. Never, either orally or in my numerous correspondence to the board. What we always said was that the police department told us that there was only one accident reported. But even if Ms. Clark is correct, and she said in her letter not 4, but 3 accidents is what she said, one of them occurring when the flashing beacon was not working. Even if that's true, it's still a substantial reduction in the number of accidents over the past several years after the flashing beacon was installed. The traffic counts took into account all traffic passing by the site, either Worcester Court or Spring Bars Road, including the traffic from Little Pond Place, from the mall, from Cappy's, from Aldi's, because that was anticipated and added into the counts. The improvements that we're proposing, including those speed signs, which are estimated to reduce speeds on Worcester Court by 10 to 15%, should have a significant improvement. We've told the board that we've tested the sound, and at a distance, the distance from the proposed location of the order kiosk to the property line, let alone another 70 feet to the nearest residence, that it cannot be heard. And we've agreed to a condition that it can't be heard off of the property. It's complete conjecture and speculation on the part of Ms. Clark to say that that's going to be a problem. She's concerned and has been at every meeting concerned about the noise from dumpsters. Our dumpsters will be 85 feet away from the nearest apartment. There are 2 sets of dumpsters existing on the Little Pond Place site, both of them within about 40 feet from the residences. We've agreed that we would hire the same contractor to empty. I believe it's Cavosa. And the timing for it can be coordinated. We're completely addressing the stormwater concern. There's no stormwater control now for an existing, almost entirely paved piece of property. And we're going to handle on-site 100% of the drainage from those the new impervious surfaces. And that's been reviewed and approved by the engineering department of the town. Some development is going to go on this property. We're proposing a very small building. We've addressed all the concerns, and certainly all the credible concerns. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we're going to close the hearing
I just need to, board discussion, you don't have to close anything.
before we close it?
You don't have to close it.
Okay.
It's just a public meeting for the site plan review.
Any comments, questions?
I guess I would like to say something. I really respect Linda Clark and her work. What she's done for the town and housing is really important. The people who live there are important to us, and we've really considered what you have to say. I think that judging that intersection as it is now is kind of not imagining how much it's going to change to have an active business on that site. It won't be the same place. People are not going to be rushing by it any longer because it will be active, which it really has not been. Plus, the applicants are making a number of adjustments, of changes in the sidewalks, changes in the signage, changes in the way the lot will be approached and exited in order to make it as safe as possible. It's a by right use. Any business that's put there is going to increase the traffic there, but not every business would be this much used, that well lighted, and that popular, we hope. So we heard what you have to say, and nevertheless, I at least am going to vote to approve this as it is.
Thank you. Jim? Paul, any questions, any comments? Tom? Tom, you okay with the bollards that they're suggesting?
Yeah, I just want to talk to the board. So I know that it gets to be expensive, and I don't want him to take a huge hit here, but I just want to talk about beyond the that building, the adjacent building. I had some notes here. I wrote, the bollards stop at the end of the building in this rendering. Workers in the yard at the rear of the building are vulnerable to vehicle incursions in any hazardous substances or pressure tanks. Our tools could be subject to damage. Easy to see welding tanks struck with gas escaping or drums of oil or some such struck and spilled onto the ground. Would we want to consider, just talk about, should we extend those bollards all the way to the end? Because we don't know who, they may, that existing owner may decide to sell the building. We don't know who the next owner is going to be. So do we set that up now to have those bollards in place? Just something to talk about. And then the other thing is, at that drive-through window, I see some drive-through windows have, because this extends from the building, the drive-through window, a bollard on either side to protect those employees inside. Those are my only comments.
The applicant wanted to know what we thought about putting up a guardrail instead of bollards.
Well, I know Jim Fox talked about that. He didn't like the look, but actually I talked to a specialist, an expert on bollards, and he didn't like the guardrail because he said what happens as vehicles back up, sometimes their legs get crushed. It's either easier to have bollards there, it's safer for pedestrians.
And how do you feel about the 6-foot span?
his suggestion, the expert suggested 54 because it's a great change, thank you.
54 bollards or
54 inches instead of 72. That was his suggestion, ATSM standards, which is a national standard.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah, I do have a comment. I was quite surprised at the addendum and the proposed improvements in the roadway by the applicant. A number of these I've not seen before, an applicant doing it. And I think it's commendable you're trying to do that, but I want to make sure that's done in accordance with DPW and the engineering department. Because there's a lot of things here that they work on, and it involves, I think, an awful lot of coordination with the town to implement these proposed items in the addendum, if that's indeed going to be included.
Okay. That's our comments.
Well, I suggest you figure out what you'd like to do for the bollards or the guardrail, so that we can button that up.
Okay,
But then you can proceed to your motion.
what do you think on bollards?
yeah. What are your
I
thoughts?
think the bollards as proposed are okay. They've been moved to be closer together. There's no point in putting more bollards for a situation that doesn't exist yet. We don't know what will happen next, so we have to deal with the situation in front of us. So I would go with the 54-inch bollards as they are.
What do you think, Jim?
Well, aren't we changing it from 6, we're at it,
We're
we're
making them
changing.
We're
closer
discussing
together.
right now.
So, I thought she's recommending a change, not what
She
was
is,
prepared.
to
Okay.
54.
No, I'm not. I'm saying we're going with as proposed, closer together.
Yeah,
Well,
50.
that's a change. Closer together is what, not what proposed. You're now adding more bollards.
I thought they had proposed that.
No,
You
no,
proposed
My
that.
understanding,
Tom is suggesting that.
that was a Tom suggestion, he just adding,
No, I want to go as the applicant has already proposed it
I'm
and
done.
we reviewed it.
jerking these people out. I'm ready to go.
That's not a good way of saying
Well, it
it.
is.
We're having a
This is
hearing.
ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Okay. What do you think, Paul?
I think with the close proximity of the building on the other side of that property line, I think the ballards are more secure.
At 6 feet or 54 inches? That's our discussion right now.
54 is fine, because I think the ballards are loose.
Okay.
They're existing right now at 6 feet. I made a suggestion at 54 inches less.
I prefer the 54 inches. Should we make a motion on that?
Yeah, they'd have to revise the plan
Okay.
to show that, but it can just be submitted.
It can be
doesn't-
submitted,
yeah.
right?
Okay,
So Tom, you want to make that as a
This is like a
motion?
6-inch change.
It's like a 4-inch change, maybe. Is it 6 or 4
At the
inches?
last minute.
54
what's
inches
the
to seven.
purpose?
Well, it's
It's-
about
it's-
safety.
It's safety.
It's public safety.
Yeah.
So make the motion, Tom, please.
So, motion to change bollard spacing along, what's that, the south side? South side, from 6 feet on center to 54 inches on center.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. So that's the only change, the only adjustment?
Yep, and then you can just go ahead and make the motion.
Wants to make the motion?
Okay. Motion that the planning board votes to approve the application of Fashion Food LLC under Article 14, General Regulations, and also grant a special permit pursuant to Section 240.14.11.5B of the zoning bylaw to allow parking in the front yard and parking within 5 feet of a property line at 0 Worcester Court, for a plan entitled, and with the following findings and conditions. First, the findings. The applicant proposes to construct a 2,391 square foot, 36-seat Wendy's fast food restaurant with a
Just
single,
read the one that's in red.
Want me to read it?
this is in red.
She's,
This is the one that we were given for tonight,
Okay,
isn't it? Yes, I think this is tonight's.
okay.
is it the special site plan review one? Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's the special permit.
it's for both. It's to approve the application.
There's 2.
Can you read this one?
Tom can read it.
Okay. Draft 12726, motion that the planning board votes to approve the application of Fashion Food LLC under Article 14 General Regulations and grant a special permit pursuant to Section 240. No,
That's the
that's
special
still the same one? This one? This one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Motion that the planning board votes to approve the site plan review application of Fashion Foods LLC for a Wendy's fast food restaurant at 0 Worcester Court, parcel ID 39015048001B, under Section 240-12.2, Site Plan Review of the Zoning Bylaw. The following findings and conditions. Findings. The applicant proposes to construct a 2,391 square foot, 36-seat Wendy's fast food restaurant with a single-lane drive-through. The proposed site plan shows 39 parking spaces, which exceeds the required 36-space requirement at 1 space per seat. 3-foot steel bollards will be installed in front of the parking spaces on the south side of the property to protect the structure on the abutting lot. A 7-foot tall stockade privacy fence will be installed along a portion of the east property line, extending northerly 62 plus or minus feet from the dumpster enclosure to screen headlights from the site onto the abutting property. Next page. At their own expense, the applicant will make improvements to the Worcester Court and Spring Bars Road intersection as outlined in Addendum A, proposed Wendy's on Worcester Court at Spring Bars Road, attached to this decision. All of the improvements will require permission from the Traffic Advisory Committee and the Department of Public Works Engineering Division. The drive-through order kiosk will be approximately 135 feet from the nearest residence. The applicant will ensure the sound from the order kiosk will not be heard off-site and will be maintained at a constant low-level volume. The board found no issues with the traffic impact evaluation performed by Vanessa Hangen and Breslin, the applicant's traffic engineer. The applicant is proposing to collect and contain all new stormwater generated by the additional building and impervious surfaces with a series of catch basins and leaching galleys throughout the site. The board finds that the proposed stormwater collection system, along with the submitted operations and maintenance plan for said system, is adequate to mitigate stormwater impacts for the site. Next page, page 3. The landscape plan shows a number of drought-tolerant plantings dispersed on the site. The board finds that the landscape plan complies with the Section 240-14.3B of the zoning bylaw. The lighting plan submitted complies with Section 13.1B2. The Town of Falmouth departments have reviewed and commented on the above-mentioned application, and the planning board finds that the applicant has adequately addressed the comments. The board finds that the information provided by the applicant conforms to all the requirements of Section 240-12.2 of the zoning bylaw. Conditions. Number 1, the plan shall be constructed as approved. Any changes shall be reviewed by the planning board to determine if a modification of this decision is necessary. Number 2, the project shall not cause erosion to or sedimentation into abutting properties or direct any stormwater runoff to public property, abutters, or public right-of-way. Number 3, any connections or alterations to public utilities shall require permission from the appropriate town department. Number 4, construction of this project shall follow the town's soil, erosion, and sediment control standard conditions, document which can be found on the Engineering Division's page of the town's website. Next page. Number 5, the project shall meet all applicable standards set forth in the building code as determined by the building commissioner. Number 6, the applicant shall see the Engineering Division for address assignment for the new building prior to applying for a building permit. Upon completion of construction, the applicant shall post the address for this building per Section 99-1 of the Town Code. Number 7, pursuant to the Section 240-12.2 of the zoning bylaw, This site plan review decision shall lapse 3 years from the date it is granted if substantial use thereof has not sooner commenced except for good cause. The determination of good cause shall be made by the planning board. Number 8, the applicant shall perform all of the work on Addendum A, in parentheses, proposed Wendy's on Worcester Court at Spring Bars Road, end quote, at their own expense. If the installation is not approved or not funded, the applicant must return to the planning board to request a modification to this approval. Number 9, the applicant shall obtain approval from the Traffic Advisory Committee for all of the items listed on attached Addendum A, proposed Wendy's on Worcester Court at Spring Bars Road, prior to occupancy. If the installation is not approved or not funded, the applicant must return to the planning board to request a modification to this approval. Number 10, the applicant shall obtain an approved street opening permit and post any required bond with the engineering division before the start of construction. The applicant shall complete the work, including, but not limited to, all of the improvements listed on Addendum A, proposed Wendy's on Worcester Court at Spring Bars Road, and the new driveway located on Spring Bars Road. An occupancy permit shall be issued until all the occupancy, let me try that again. An occupancy permit shall not be issued until all of the work in the street opening permit is completed. Number 11, the applicant shall apply for a modification to the original variance from the flow neutral bylaw. Number 12, the order kiosk volume shall be kept at a constant low level as to not to be heard off-site. Adjustments shall be made to the volume if it is found that this condition is not met. Last page. You want me to read this still? No, okay. All right, that's it, John.
All right,
Mr. Chairman.
yes, Paul?
Yeah, I had a couple of comments. Number 1, number 10, the special condition, said an occupancy permit shall not be issued until all the work in the street opening permit. What about the traffic work that's being done? There's an awful lot of work being done there that everyone's concerned about because of safety, but there's no reference that the occupancy permit is dependent on any of that work being done.
The addendum states that.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's taken care of in the addendum.
but it should be in the motion.
Well, the motion refers to the addendum, and then the addendum says it.
Is that sufficient? And the other question I had was, the comment about the driving kiosk, the third paragraph at the beginning of the draft, refers to constant low-level volume at the kiosk. I've seen a lot of these kiosks, and they echo all over the place, so I don't know what kind of enforcement or what kind of criteria is being used to assure it's at a low-level volume. Maybe we can't determine that, but I think the intent is to minimize interference of people off-site. Now, if that's sufficient, I'm okay with it, but there's no mechanism for defining what that is or what the recourse is if it exceeds that amount.
So there is a statement in your packets from Wendy's, dated January 20th, 2026, that they measured the distance of 55 feet from the order kiosk at the Wendy's in Hyannis to test the sound, to see if it would travel off premises, and it did not.
I believe the last condition that was read actually covered this issue.
Yeah, I agree, but I was just putting in testimony as well.
How about the adjustments of volume?
It did. It
Yes.
covered it, yeah.
Says it.
So,
Okay, any other comments or concerns?
Need a second. Then you need a vote.
Second.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you.
So now you can go, I don't know, you might want to go back to the special permit to see what he would like to do about it.
I think he indicated he wanted to continue it. Did you want to continue the special permit?
Was that the special
comment?
permit application?
Well, as I noted earlier, 5 affirmative votes are needed to grant a special permit, and that means 5 out of the 5 of you. Certainly, the site plan review vote you've just taken is a positive step. The special permit that you're acting on is simply to allow the parking to be 3 feet instead of 5 feet from the southerly property line, and we're going to put in a lot of bollards to make that safe.
Thank you.
There are only 8 parking spaces that, the way front yard is defined, are in the front yard. It's a very standard thing. So I think that the special permits we're asking for, I would hope that we're comfortable with a 5-member board voting. But I would ask the board members, if any of you would recommend that we seek a continuance so that we might have a 6-member board, I would like you to tell us so.
Well, I think we're going to make you make that decision. We're not going to decide that for you.
Well, I think we're ready to proceed tonight.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple of comments to make,
Okay.
somewhat in response to some of the issues that have been raised. I would like it if the special permit with regard to the parking along the south property line provide that the applicant can install a guardrail instead of the bollards, because especially with those bollards being 48 inches on, or 54 inches on center, that's a whole bunch more, and the very substantial rail system should be a satisfactory alternative, I would think. Or at least allow us to make that change with an administrative approval from the board, so that you don't have to have another whole hearing process if we really would like to make that change. I'd also like to, although it's perhaps been already responded to, Mr. Dreyer had concerns about the specifications and the work done at the intersection and in the street. And in your decision, your site plan review decision you've just voted, and in the special permit draft decision, it's very clear that that work all has to be done with approval from the Traffic Advisory Committee and from the Engineering Highways Division. And some of these improvements have come about because of meetings that were held in the, with the town engineers and their input. So we understand that we have to meet the town standards and requirements, whatever they may be, for work in the town layout. Also, one of the things we haven't said earlier, I don't think, is that, as I understand it, the voice in the kiosk box, the order box, is AI, and will be. It's not a human who moderates their voice or exclaims or anything, and it's very easy to control that. So we're pretty confident, and if we weren't, we wouldn't have suggested a condition that says you cannot hear it off the site. Other than that, I'd just like you to take into account everything I've said earlier this evening, and hope that you'll grant the special permit for the parking in the front yard and the parking 3 feet from a property line. The Board of Appeals, of course, has to approve the proposed use of the site for a fast food restaurant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Close the If you can close the hearing if you're ready.
Okay, a motion to close the hearing?
He already has.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, any discussions? I think the only discussion that I might have, I'm not sure how to handle the Bollard situation because we already made a decision. I don't think I want to make an adjustment on
That's fine.
what's here. This doesn't have any spaces designated, any inches. It just says bollards.
Exactly. The plan is the only thing that would show the difference.
So do we have to make a part of the motion that we change it, adjust the plan to 54 inches? No? Okay. Because the other one should take care of it, I would think.
So staff won't submit the decision, the site plan review decision to the building commissioner until we have the revised plan that shows the 54
Okay.
inch on center.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you. Tom, you want to read the motion, please?
Motion that the planning board votes to approve the application of Falmouth Food LLC under the Article 14 General Regulations and grant a special permit pursuant to Section 240-14.1 L5B of the zoning bylaw to allow parking in the front yard and parking within 5 feet of a property line at 0 Worcester Court. Parcel ID 39-015-048-001B. With the following findings and conditions. Findings, the applicant proposes to construct a 2,391 square foot, 36-seat Wendy's fast food restaurant with a single-lane drive-through. The proposed site plan shows 39 parking spaces, which exceeds the required 36-space requirement at 1 space per seat. Findings specific to 240-14.1 L5B of the zoning bylaw. The applicant is seeking a special permit under Section 14.1 L5B to allow for 6 parking spaces located within the front yard and 18 parking spaces within 5 feet of the property line. 3-foot steel bollards will be installed in front of the parking spaces on the south side of the property to protect the structure of the abutting lot. The board finds that the proposed parking layout supports the functionality of the site and finds no issues with the proposed parking spaces located within the front yard and within 5 feet of the property line. Findings specific to Section 240-12.1 of the zoning bylaw. The planning board finds that this site is adequately sized to the proposed use, that the site is suitable due to it is located in the Business 2 zoning district. It will not adversely affect traffic flow or safety. It won't have adverse impacts on views and vistas. The methods for sewage disposal, potable water, and drainage are adequate. Appropriate utilities and other public services are provided, and that the project will have no effect on the supply of affordable housing in town. Therefore, given the above and the conditions to be imposed below, the planning board finds the application for a special permit to allow 6 parking spaces within the front yard and, next page, 18 parking spaces within 5 feet of a property line will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of 240-12.1 and 240-14.1 of the zoning bylaw. Conditions. Number 1, the plan will be constructed as approved. Number 2, pursuant to Section 240-2.1C2 of the zoning bylaw, no permit for full or partial occupancy shall be issued until the planning board is satisfied that the conditions of this approval and predecessor approvals have been met. And lastly, number 3, pursuant to Section 240-12.1L of the zoning bylaw, this special permit shall lapse 3 years from the date it is granted if a substantial use thereof has not sooner commenced except for good cause shown, or in the case of a permit for construction, if the construction has not begun by the date except for good cause shown. That's it.
Thank you.
Can I just make a little correction? There's a little typo. It says 6 parking spaces are in the front yard. It's actually 8. So if we can just make that correction, that's the only thing that I just noticed. And you can go ahead and,
Let me review that.
Second? Including the 8? All right. Any questions or comments? Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good project.
It's good to get it over with. Don't get going. To the ZBA. All right, next on our agenda is applicant ASD Cape Cod Holdings LLC site plan review application to install large-scale ground-mounted solar arrays at 41, 42, 48, and 59 Theater Drive and 0 Boxway Hill Road, maps 1003001, 163, 1701, 028B, 014, and 1701, 028, 039, and 1701, 028A, 015, and 1004, 00735. And for the applicant,
Good evening. For the applicant, my name is Matt Terry. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Ament Clower here in Falmouth. This is our fourth hearing for the site plan review process. Coming out of the prior 3 hearings, we received significant and constructive feedback from the public and from the board. As a result of that feedback, we had submitted to the board last week revised plan set pages that reflected particular changes. These changes are updates to the restoration plan that show changes to the proposed trail network that were made at the request of some property owners, interested abutting parties, and the board. The relocation of the driveway and curb cut for the west array that will avoid a cluster of trees along the edge of the road. And that change was made as a result of the site visit and subsequent discussion. The revised plan pages also show the wildlife corridor that was inserted into the middle of the west array, right at where the driveway comes in off of Boxbury Hill Road. As the board may recall, the applicant agreed to divide the fencing into 2 components and to provide a 52 to 93 foot wide opening in the project so that wildlife can move from the other side of Boxbury Hill Road and conservation area that is to its east, all the way through beside the West Array project to the vernal pool that's to the project's west, and then on to Coonamessett Pond and significant conservation acreage that abuts Coonamessett Pond. We also adjusted raised earth berms in response to the driveway relocation, and then some additional adjustments to the walking paths to try to make them as contiguous as possible and to avoid hikers and pedestrians having to use Boxbury Hill Road. So with that as table setting for what is new and different since we were before you last, I will defer to the board if you have any further questions or comments, or if there's any public comment.
all right. Tom, any questions or comments? Paul? No. Charlotte?
I want to thank them for their responsiveness. Yeah, they're good changes.
Okay. I just have a couple of questions. I noticed that they have some drainage areas. Look like they're going to be kind of, 6 or 8 feet deep? Am I reading it correctly? To catch the water?
I don't believe that's correct. Let me see if I can get Raul Lazardi Rivera as the project engineer, and he'll have the answer off the top of his head. My recollection is that those basin areas are both more shallow and designed to remain dry.
Okay. When I got the plan, I looked at the dimensions on the plan and it looked like it was 6 to 8 feet deep, but the plan's not the easiest to read.
Yeah, there's a lot of information.
Of them, but
Yes,
anyway,
without a
I'm
doubt.
doing my best.
Yeah, I've got an appointment with my optometrist as a result of this plan set, so. Hey, can you address the depths of the drainage basins?
So yeah, for the record, Raul Lizardi from Cape Bananas Engineering. So we have several basins here, and they range from about 18 inches, and there's a couple that are about 6 feet in depth. In terms of those big ones that are about 6 feet, they're very large, and what they're trying to do is mimic the existing topography on the site. So there's already some areas on the site that are 6 foot in depth that are just going to be collecting water. Now, that doesn't mean that they're holding 6 foot of water. It's just that the topography, based on the grades around it, produce that kind of depression.
All right, thank you. And a question on the battery storage. You have two battery storage along Boxbury Hill Road, and the third one is where? It's further away.
Yeah, come on up. State your name for the record.
So it's Lawrence Cook from Pure Sky Energy. The east and west array have the batteries on the equipment pads that are accessed off the short driveway off the road. For the south array, it is in the centrally located equipment pad in the middle of the array at the end of the much longer. So it's kind of in this area here for that battery, and then this one is here, and then this one is over here.
Correct. So the one that's furthest to the right there.
Yep.
You're proposing from the battery storage location, the energy will travel, underground to a telephone pole?
It will go underground up to the pole-mounted interconnection equipment where it raises up towards the road. So we will have, there's an equipment pad here, then we have an interconnection equipment pad, and then the utility connections on the poles.
Okay. It'd be in conduit, I would presume?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I don't have any other questions at this point. Go to the audience, any questions or comments? Your name for the record, please.
Henry Dick, and a butter, and a board member of the Canoe Pond Association, and reporting back to you, we met with the Concom and Melinda and Jed and Jennifer Lincoln and her assistant Henry, whose last name I cannot remember at this minute. And they were very enthusiastic about the footpath, but they specified that they would not like Pure Sky to be involved in the construction of that. They will probably try to get that on the list for a AmeriCorps project. And they would be, while they do not want Pure Sky involved in that, they would appreciate a small contribution towards the cost of putting the path in. But other than that, they rather like the idea.
All right, thank you.
And in response to Charlotte Harris's question about erosion, I didn't have a ready answer for you, but the answer is that we're constructing this path by making a cut in the hillside of about a foot, on average of about a foot deep. And in these old hillsides that are covered with trees for the last 100 years, there is a dense mat of roots that you have to cut down through, and that root mat prevents any erosion, which I know from experience having constructed a similar path on the hillside of our property. Okay. So thank you, and thank you for your time.
Anyone else from the public? All right. Do you have any comments for us?
I'll defer to the board and to staff as to what you'd like to do next, whether it makes sense to go through the draft conditions list that was circulated today.
If I may just interrupt just for a moment, we did also meet with Marine and Environmental Services, and the whole team, and then Jed and I, and he wrote a referral back saying that he is comfortable with the plan as presented during the meeting, and he would just like to be notified a week before groundbreaking to make sure he can be available on site if matters arise. So MES was comfortable with it.
Okay. I'm trying to find the conditions. I know you put it in my packet somewhere, the draft conditions.
So Jed drafted some conditions, some standard and special conditions for you guys to go over, look through. We also shared it with the applicant so that there's not any surprises to them. I suggest that the board looks them over and has some comments to make for the next meeting.
Okay.
If you'd like any revisions or any additions of certain conditions within reason, we can chat about that at the next meeting.
Okay. I know one of the conditions I'm going to request is going to be the underground for the electricity. It's in our site plan review, and I'm going to make that as a recommendation. I know you don't have it in here, but we're going to discuss it at some point.
Okay.
I don't want to discuss it tonight a little bit, or just wait?
You can, yes, it would be probably helpful to discuss it tonight, so we're not holding anything up.
All right. So that would be my only comment, is have the, as it says in our site plan review, that electricity should go underground, and that's going to be something I'm going to request as a condition when the time comes.
I appreciate it, and I do think it's productive to have this conversation now. As we had pointed out at the most recent hearing, the bylaw requires or can require the planning board to condition burial of lines within the project property to be buried. The bylaw does not give the planning board authority to condition burying lines outside of the project property that might run transmission lines, just distribution lines that run down the street and may be on other people's property or the town layout, and within the domain of Eversource as the utility. So our contention would be that that condition isn't appropriate and would be unreasonable on its face outside of the boundaries of the authority granted to the planning board in the bylaw, and would, in addition to that, pose an undue hardship on the applicant.
So my understanding is Pure Sky is willing to run the electricity underground from their solar panels to the telephone poles. That's okay? Not to run it along the side of Boxbury Hill Road underground?
I think that's right. I think
out toward the transfer station?
the applicant is willing to comply with the bylaw. And as designed, the project within the property boundary lines runs underground. When it comes up, when the power comes up from the equipment pads, it will go to poles that are also on site, and those poles will connect into the existing transmission lines.
Well, some of the poles are on site, some are not even there yet.
Correct, yeah, some are proposed as part of the plans.
So under number 7 of our site plan review, and I quote this, utility connections, reasonable efforts as determined by the planning board shall be made to place all utility connections from the solar voltaic installation underground, depending on appropriate soil conditions, shape, and topography of the site, and any requirements of the utility provider. That would be Eversource, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, I've had a conversation with Eversource, and they said they would like to see them go underground.
I would disagree with that.
I'll continue. I'll finish up here. Electrical transformers for utility interconnections may be above ground if required by the utility provider. And just from my own experience, which I've been a developer for 45 years, every development I've done, whether it's been in the town of Falmouth, Mashpee, Barnstable, Wareham, everything has been underground, this electric. And you mentioned a fact that might be like $1.5 million or something. I think that's just something you said off the cuff. I'd take that contract myself for a lot less than that.
Yeah, but you can't do that. The only people that can deal with the transmission lines are the utilities themselves.
I know I can't do it. I'm
Yes,
just,
and underground.
I'm just saying I don't agree with the number that you mentioned.
I mean, that extract that you just read specifically ties the underground to within the site. So, and within the site, we are going to be underground.
It does not say on the site.
The extract you just read,
Well, then,
and I'm just looking for my screenshot that I took of it previously, because it definitely refers to the utility connections, which is the point at which we connect, not the distribution lines. It is specifically the area of the site-based electricity. Any plain reading of that of your bylaw would lead any reasonable person to that conclusion.
that we stay on site, but once you get next to where there was no telephone pole, we'll put one in instead of going underground. And
But that's outside of the connection. Our connection, the point of interconnection, and the connection is at the site boundary.
then you and I are going to have agree to disagree, because
And that's absolutely fine.
I just want to make you aware that when we come to make the final decision, I'm going to suggest this be part of the decision.
Okay, and we would, for the reasons that Matt Terry provided, we would say that would be an unreasonable condition to place on the project, because it wouldn't be any plain reading of the bylaw would indicate that we have to bury transmission lines and distribution lines.
Well, I think
And it's not been done on any other solar project within your jurisdiction. I've been down and had a look at every single one of them. Every single one of them has pole-mounted equipment, not pad-mounted equipment. We are meeting the spirit and the terms of the bylaw by providing pad-mounted equipment, except for where the topography doesn't work.
Well, I'm on the planning board.
Can you name another, as you're on the planning board then, can you name another project where you've placed that requirement?
I wasn't on the planning board when there were any others permitted. I wasn't here. So, but I'm here now, so.
But the bylaw was in effect at the time that the other projects are in?
I don't know if it was or not. Do you know, Jim? Was it?
It was when we had to connect the landfill into the poles that were there. We didn't put new poles in. We had to fight for them for weeks to finally do the connection. They only wanted to do it one day a week, but they eventually came down and did it. But they didn't require us to go underground. It goes up on poles and all the way out, it went to existing poles.
Yeah.
They were already there.
But all of the fairground ones,
It went right over. Well, this is not the fairground. I'm talking,
Yeah.
I was involved more in the landfill project, is the one I was involved in.
Yeah, no,
And it connected to existing pole. As soon as it hit the existing pole underground, then the first pole, up it goes and out.
Yeah, our position is that the bylaw applies to the site that we have control in, and the spirit and the requirement of that is not that we then have to go back to a utility and take distribution lines all the way back to the substations and things like that to bury existing infrastructure is unreasonable.
I know you say it's unreasonable. I've had this discussion with Eversource.
I know you've had this discussion.
And I don't think it's unreasonable, and I think we're trying to have as safe of a project as possible for the town of Falmouth. We live here. We have to live with what you do.
What's the concern with the danger of the utility poles which appear on every street in the town? What's the inherent danger of the poles that you foresee that are in every street in the town?
And not on every street in town.
Most of the streets.
We're not
I
going
have
to
a point
debate
of
right
order.
now.
I got to
Go
ask
ahead,
a
Jim.
question.
Yes, Jim, go ahead.
I thought I just heard the chairman admit that he had a separate discussion with Eversource without the bond. That's an ex parte, it's totally illegal to do that, and he just said he did it.
I was asked to do it.
I don't recall.
They asked me. They asked me at the public meeting.
I believe,
Said,
I've heard
ask
several members
Eversource yourself.
discuss
I did not. That's not
meetings outside this meeting. I brought it up before. I think it's wrong. I think it's an ex parte. I think you're way overstepping your bounds, and there's other members have also admitted to it. I kept my mouth shut. I've asked a couple times, and he just said it again. I have to bring it up, period. He just said he has conversations directly with Eversource.
I did.
You're not supposed to. We're supposed to do it as a board.
So I brought this up at the last meeting, I believe. And it's a lack of substantial evidence that Eversource is not here to have this discussion. You cannot bring in your private conversations, which you had with Eversource, into this meeting.
Can I bring in the written comments they sent me?
No, because it's to you. It's not, they're not here to the board.
Yeah, I disagree. I'm an elected official for this town of Falmouth. I'm here to represent everyone in this town.
So are we.
And
We don't know what Eversource is understanding about the project. So Eversource isn't here to hear the project as presented by the applicant. So we don't know what was presented to Eversource. So their comments also cannot be brought into it because they're not here.
John,
Yes,
can we invite Eversource?
No.
they won't come.
Can we invite them?
We can ask.
We can ask.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I realize that it is your opinion that that condition be inserted, but I think that the rest of the board also has a voice, and we should hear from the rest of the board on that particular item. And then we need to move on.
I think-
because there are other items to discuss for
I
the decision.
appreciate that, but I think when we discuss this, at the next meeting, that's when we'll discuss Eversource.
I think that you need to discuss that issue about your condition at this meeting.
I am.
I mean, now, and come to a conclusion of what the board feels about that condition.
I can speak to it. I'm very concerned with the change in appearance all along Boxbury Hill Road, and it's been evident in just about everything, every comment that I've made. I am disappointed that you decided not to move further away from the road, but I understand why you didn't do that. It would be above and beyond. But burying all of the wires would be wonderful, and I wonder if we could invite Eversource and at least hear it from them so that we could get this as good-looking as we could manage for the people who use that road and for the town and for the safety involved in buried wires. So I want to support John in saying we should bury all those wires, and until we finalize this, why not try to get more information?
So that is not part of the purview. Eversource is not part of this application. It's Pure Sky that's part of the application. The site plan review is site plan review. It's not site and then roads. It's just site plan review for the site. And it says in your bylaw, I can read it if you'd like. For 7.4, it's 247.4E7, as was read earlier, that reasonable efforts determined by the planning board shall be made to place all utility connections from the solar voltaic installation underground, not the whole electric system of poles. That is too far to reach from what your bylaw says.
There's another section in here, but I'll read it next week, our next
What?
meeting.
Okay. I suggest you read it
I'm not-
now and everyone have this conversation now.
I wasn't even bringing up the merits of it. I was talking about the chairman having an ex parte discussion. The board's not involved, and I believe it's inherently wrong. And I think that should be corrected right away. I believe it's putting the whole case in trouble.
I tend to agree, but I want the board, I would rather the board stay focused on the conversation because.
We don't care about the rules, we just want to see what's right, what we want to do.
do.
That's ridiculous.
You have an applicant before you, and you're trying to work through that process. There are folks in the audience who may have comments and who may be here for another agenda item. I would suggest that you work your way through this conversation about this reasonable effort and the utility connections. That way, the entire audience and the board can understand your perspective. It helps us draft a decision for you at whatever meeting you decide.
Then
We can handle that item that you're bringing up another time.
But we're going to, but he's mentioned that he actually said that it could be done. Maybe we should see at least minutes of that discussion. We're totally blinded. He had it totally by himself.
We can't have any part of that discussion in here. The Eversource is
Then what are we doing?
We should not be discussing that.
I know, that's my whole point.
So rather, could you give us your opinion on what you would like them to do in respect to the connection, underground, above ground, et cetera?
Just the connection.
You know, I think it'd be great if it could be underground, but I have a feeling we were probably told that it costs millions of dollars, it's unreasonable, and we shouldn't, and it can't be done. But I didn't get to be part of that discussion. That's a unilateral discussion that John had.
So if I may, could the applicant show in a zoomed-in version exactly where those connections are located?
Well, and could
Do
you
have
also
an image?
say whether or not the connections have to be at those places? Can you keep the wires on the property that you do control for as long as possible, so they're as buried as they can be? Do they have to connect exactly where you want them to now, because the poles are already there? You can keep the wire on the project site. Can't they?
The wires are already there. What's the difference?
Buried or not, that's the difference, that's what we're
I
discussing.
don't think you notice the difference in the current running through the wires that are already up there, up the pole.
Of course you can.
They're there on one street, they're not there on another street. That's why they want to add 4 poles here.
I believe we're having inappropriate discussions, and I think it's wrong.
So Jim, town council's here, if you'd like her to step up.
So I'm going to read one more section of the bylaw.
I'm done. I've discussed it with you folks twice. This is my last time bringing it up. I know you don't agree with me, but I think it's wrong.
One more section of ground-mounted solar overlay district, 240-7.4A, purpose and applicability. And it says here that the purpose of this bylaw is promote the creation of large, new-scale ground-mounted solar installations by providing standards for the placement, design, construction, operation, monitoring, modification, and removal of such installations that address public safety, minimize impacts on scenic, natural, and historic resources. And that's why I think it should go underground, for those 2 reasons.
Yeah, I would point you back to the specific clause that was adopted in your bylaw to do with utility connections.
That's in the bylaw, too.
Yeah, on G, reasonable efforts as determined by the site plan review should be made to place all utility connections, so utility connections, not utility distribution networks, from the solar voltaic installation underground, depending on the appropriate soil conditions, shape, and topography of the site. So it's that whole clause is clearly referencing the site, not off-site, not anywhere near the site or anything like that. It's specifically relating to the site. And as such, we have met the terms of that by providing the pad-mounted equipment as requested by the bylaw, except for the only one in the south, which is where there's a topography issue that the pad can't go on that slope that goes down into the site.
Why are you requesting 4 telephone poles?
We're not requesting it. Eversource has designed that to meet the application that we put in.
And if Eversource designed this to go underground, what would you do?
We would have dealt with that. But that's not how Eversource designs the system. We have the interconnection.
Maybe you can share that design with the town planner before our next meeting.
We don't have that design.
You don't have it designed yet.
Because it's the ISA.
So what happens if the design comes in and it shows it underground?
So the issue here is that Eversource, it's within their purview, and they're going to design an interconnection that is safe, that doesn't endanger the public, that meets their requirements, meets state, local, and federal law, and the design that's been provided as promulgated by Eversource meets all of those standards. So if they did not think that telephone poles were safe, they wouldn't have designed it that way.
Well, he doesn't have the design yet. He thinks it's going to go that way.
But that's within their purview. That was the design that's already been provided to the applicant by Eversource as part of the interconnection agreement process. Town council standing behind me, I think we'll let her have the podium.
Good evening, everybody. Maura O'Keefe, Town Council. I just wanted to sort of redirect the conversation a little bit and reframe some of the things that I've been hearing about the jurisdiction of the board and what it means to be an unreasonable condition. And I just want to provide you with some guideposts for that. In order for a condition to be reasonable, it has to be based on the record before you, and it has to be within the confines of the bylaw. So you want to use what's already in the bylaw as a reference. And I think that you've started to do that by really looking very closely at what that undergrounding section looks like. That undergrounding section can only be applied to the site, not to the roads, and not to anything beyond the property lines. As for the record, as I said, the record consists of for a restriction to be reasonable, it has to be either based on the record or the bylaw. What is the record? The record consists of two different things: the application and all of the documents that have been submitted by the applicant, and all of the referrals, all of the information that you've learned from town staff. That's it. There's nothing else in the record. It is those two things. If any of you learn information on your own, outside of this meeting, outside of the referrals, outside of the application, it is inappropriate for you to base any condition on that information. It will be deemed per se unreasonable. You can bring your experience here. In fact, your experience out in the world is highly valuable. But if you do investigations and bring information into this meeting and base a condition upon that information, it will be unreasonable and highly susceptible to challenge. I am impressed with the conversation that you're having, and I hope that the information that I'm providing tonight helps you come to some reasonable conditions to place on the project.
So before you leave, I want to discuss something here.
Sure.
In one of our earlier hearings, this gentleman said Eversource would never ask to have this put underground. And he said, you can ask yourself if you want. They will not ask for it to be underground. I called Eversource after that conversation. Eversource said they're still designing it and that they would like to see it go underground. And
We've got it in writing. There's nothing in there that says that they want to put it underground. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have the permit numbers that they've applied under. There's three different permit numbers, and they're still under review by Eversource. Now, that was maybe 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, whenever it was. I would not have done that, except this gentleman said, call him yourself if you don't believe me. So I called him myself. And I called him myself as a representative for the planning board, as a town of Falmouth. As I said, I am not appointed. I'm an elected official by everybody in this audience, or not elected by them, or anyone at home, or anybody that reads us in the newspaper. My job is to do the best I can do for the town of Falmouth. That's how I look at it. And if I'm wrong, then I won't do the job for the town of Falmouth. I'll go do something else. So that's how I look at it. And I'm not saying you're wrong with what you're telling me, and what Jim is telling me. But I disagree with. If you're right, I still disagree with that.
You can disagree with it. Unfortunately, you're digging yourself deeper and deeper into a hole every time you try to correct us. The fact is that when you bring information in, no matter how you came about it or whether you think it was justified to do it, it's not part of the record. And when you base a condition based upon information that is not in the record, it is ultimately, necessarily an unreasonable condition because there's no evidence to support it. And you don't have to believe me.
I'm only
But I
going,
am here to provide the law because I want this decision that you issue to be inscrutable. I want it to be strong. I want it to survive and survive any kind of challenge. It will not survive a court case if you put that condition in.
when I vote, I'm going to vote according to these bylaws that are in our book. That's how I'm going to vote,
That's music to my ears.
okay?
Okay, I appreciate it, and thank you for listening to me.
Welcome. Yes, Jim?
We made comments about the project that I was involved in, a 6-megawatt project for the town on the landfill. In order to get that project done, the EDIC had to agree to $100,000 to let Eversource do an interconnection research of how we're going to connect to the grid. They made us put the money up front, and we couldn't go ahead, and they re-engineered, and they said, okay, this is how much it's going to cost, and by the way, your applicant is going to have to pay that as part of their fee. So we knew what it was. And then to come in and change the rules at the end after it's already been negotiated, I just think it's inappropriate. That's supposed to be done because it's not our ability to tell Eversource what to do. We ask them how to do it, and they tell us how. I mean, the only reason why I bring it up is I've done this on a 6-megawatt power plant that makes this town tons of money. I spent 2 or 3 years doing it. I actually know what I'm talking about.
And I would agree. The interconnection agreements that we have been through a formal application and study process. They did all the calculations based on the infrastructure and what was required, and they provided a cost estimate and a interconnection agreement which has been executed with Eversource. What Mr. Drewley is referring to is going back in for a post-ISA amendment that would require a full restudy, additional costs, and it may even come back with that it can't be done because they may not be able to secure the easements, they may not be able to deal with the road and things like that. When you bury wires underground, there's thermal properties that change the calculations. It's not just simple as, hey, just put some wires under the ground and nothing changes. It is a major undertaking that will cause months and months of delays, millions of dollars of additional costs for something that is outside of the site, when your bylaw clearly refers to underground wires and interconnections at the site. Not off-site, not on the roads, not in the local areas or anything like that. It is, I echo what town council has advised you, that stick to the bylaw. And it is not in the bylaw.
As I said to the town council, when I vote, I'm going to vote according to these bylaws.
But you're clearly not if your vote is going to be
That is your opinion. And you don't know how I'm going to vote yet, but that's your opinion.
I have no idea how you're going to vote, but I do have the bylaw. It is a public document. It is in writing that it refers to the site.
Okay, I think we've had enough of that. You had enough? Everybody had enough of it? Yes, Paul? You haven't had enough. I'm only kidding. Go ahead.
This is beyond the scope of this particular project. And I suggest we set up a time at a future meeting where we can sit down and discuss the issues raised by Mr. Fox and what your concerns are, and invite town council to come in so we can deal with this issue separate from this project. But right now, we are following the bylaws. We have to move this project along, and I think we're getting off on the tangent here a bit. So I think it's an important issue, but I think it's for another meeting.
Okay. All right, anything else, Mr. Terry?
I'm not sure if the board had any interest in discussing any of the draft conditions that town staff promulgated today.
I know that staff wants us to discuss it, but I didn't receive these until like 3 o'clock this afternoon. I don't know how the rest of the board feels.
Tonight when we got here.
Yeah, when you got here. So I think we would want to have a chance to review them, and at our next meeting we can discuss it.
That's great. I appreciate that. I had just a couple of quick thoughts on them for the board and staff's consideration as you review them.
Okay.
The condition number 13, specific condition around memorial benches, says the applicant shall ensure that any memorial benches located on the property associated with the golf course are provided to the families listed on the benches. My suggestion would be to amend that condition so that the applicant would use reasonable efforts to ensure, as opposed to a flat obligation, just because I don't want the applicant to be out of compliance with the condition on a technicality. If the family of the decedent who's memorialized on the bench can't be reached, if the family has passed away, there are any number of scenarios under which we couldn't comply with this condition as it's currently drafted through no fault of the applicants. So my suggestion would just be to include reasonable efforts there.
Can I talk? I
Go ahead.
agree, and my other suggestion was we should just keep it on site instead of if the family chooses that as well.
Yeah, and I think.
Those walking trails, that was, I think, what I had also had mentioned.
Yep, and if it's the board's pleasure to reform the condition in that way as well, to provide that
Yeah.
if the family declines to take possession or
Right.
can't be reached, we can incorporate it into the open space.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep. Condition number 19, the tree clearing. The applicant shall work closely with the tree warden to limit project-related tree clearing that would impact wildlife in the area. The thought I had in reading this was that it's a little bit subjective in that there are, as part of the plan set, delineated trees that are slated for removal. And some of those trees are in the middle of the proposed project envelope. So I'd like to see the condition revised in a way so that those trees that are essential to the ability to construct the project, the tree warden wouldn't have the ability to come in and say, well, that tree needs to stay. For practical and shading purposes, the trees that are either within the project envelope or whose shading would interfere with the project envelope and therefore are shown for removal on the site plan set should be removed. And so I just want the board and staff to think about how that condition might be reformed to allow for both the tree warden to have a productive, meaningful role in the process while also not fundamentally altering the plan design. See if there was anything else. On condition number 22, the open space monumentation, the applicant shall install physical monumentation to delineate the boundaries of the open space areas. Really more just a point of clarification here. I've seen this in other projects where there's open space that might not be readily apparent. So I'm assuming, but correct me if I'm wrong, that the idea here would be that the applicant would install signage that would say, you know, beyond here is conservation area, so that there's because there'll be essentially 3 different categories of property. There'll be the project envelope, which will be fenced in. There'll be the 55 acres of conserved acreage, and then there'll be what's left over, which is the acreage that's sort of in between those two. So I imagine this condition is to identify those 55 acres, but let me know if I'm not interpreting.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And so the idea would be to do some amount of signage that would.
In addition to, so that the monumentation would actually delineate the area of the open space.
Yep.
Signage would be great too.
Yeah, now entering conservation area. The Matt Terry conservation.
Whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Bounds, meets and bounds.
Okay. Those are all the questions that I had on the draft conditions, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Any board members, any other questions or comments before we continue this? I have one question and a request probably. Presume the applicant has to meet all of the Cape Cod Commission conditions also.
Correct.
Would you be all right with sending all the board members what those conditions are as soon as possible so we can be ready for the next meeting? We don't want to duplicate or under or over maybe we do, but
Absolutely.
it'd be good for everyone to be on the same page, that's what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
All right,
And just before we wrap up this hearing, the next hearing will be the 27th?
24th.
24th. Okay. And if my recollection is correct, that is right around the date, maybe a couple days before the expiration of the hearing period?
I think that's March 18th.
I thought it might have been the end of February.
Oh, the deadline?
Yes.
Yeah, if you,
It is.
yes.
Yep.
So you can request a deadline extension at that, before then, before it comes to the point.
They have till the 27th. You have till the 27th, but if you'd like to extend beyond that, you certainly can.
And if, so barring an extension, the board would vote or not on an approval at the February 24th hearing.
Correct.
Okay. And it doesn't, is the board in a position to, where it's comfortable directing staff to draft a decision for review on the 24th?
you guys okay with that? I'm okay with it as long as we get it like a week ahead of time,
Okay,
okay?
yep.
Sure thing.
And we're going to need, we've only got 5 members here this evening. I imagine that Bob will probably be back. Will Pat be back, do you know?
Probably not.
Probably not?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And I think, just for clarification, if Member Leary watches this meeting, he can still vote?
That's a special permit.
Yeah,
Or
I
is
mean,
that just for special permits?
Yeah, my understanding, that's just special permit, that's the Mullen rule,
Okay, great. So the Mullen Rule doesn't apply to site plan review?
not that I'm aware of. Although town council's in the room, we can put her on the spot again. Well,
It's just for regulatory.
that's what we know.
Okay.
Yep.
For the record, town council said it's just for regulatory hearings, for the record. And if the board is unable to approve a decision by majority at the meeting on the 24th, then is the outcome a deemed approval without condition? If we go beyond February 27th, which is this decision date, without an approved decision?
Yes, if the applicant and the board do not agree to a decision deadline extension,
Right.
the answer is yes.
Okay. So we would need 4 votes in favor of an approval with whatever conditions the board has deemed to incorporate into that approval to have an approved decision.
Correct.
So a 3-2 vote would be disapproved, a failure to carry. Or assuming Mr. Leary's here, a 3-3 vote, any failure to achieve 4 votes.
Yeah, so I'd want to spend a little bit of time thinking about that. And
Sure.
maybe we can provide that to the board as guidance for the next meeting.
Yeah,
That way
okay.
we're crystal clear.
I think that makes sense. Sorry if I put you on the spot.
You're fine.
All right, I
I'll
didn't
get you
intend
next
to. I know you will.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's cool, if you found a way to do it without approval.
All right, next hearing. Applicant, Select Energy, on behalf of the town of Falmouth, site plan review application for installation of a carport-mounted solar voltaic PV system within the existing paved parking area at North Falmouth Elementary School, located at 62 Old Main Road. For the applicant.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Stuart Clark with Green Seal Environmental, representing Select Energy. Today, we're in front of you seeking site plan review on a solar canopy. There's going to be two of them, one at the north elementary school, and the other one's going to be at the high school. These will be over
Hold-
the...
1 second, please.
Yes, sir.
1 second. Should we take them both at the same time?
No, what we were just going to remind you is you need to read the notice into the record before.
Public hearing notice.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
And they should be separate applications,
Yep.
Okay.
even
Do
though,
we need to read the notice now?
yes.
Okay.
62 Old Main, right?
Yep.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Yes.
Public notice for this project was published on January 23rd, 2026, and 71 abutters were notified by regular mail.
Thank you.
Thank you. On the screen, you can see this is the existing condition plan. It's simply the school building, the North Elementary School, Old Main over here. There's a big field out back here, and it's all wooded. There are houses down on this area and up on this. There's two subdivisions. The proposed, just push down?
Yep, mouse wheel, yep.
Oh, I can wheel it down?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. The proposed canopy will be over the parking area to the rear of the building, away from the street. It will be 14 feet on the low side, about 18 feet on the high side. The last two panels are sloped up, so it's kind of a V. You're going to have like 20 panels come down, the two up, so any snow won't slide off, and, you know, because they can unload pretty quickly if you get a lot of snow. All of the inverters are going to be up underneath, away from height. They're like 10, 12 feet up off the ground, so you can't touch them or get electrocuted. All the utilities will be run underground to the building where they'll interconnect. There will be lighting under here. They're similar lights like these. They'll be mounted up underneath the panels, and they shine directly down. There's no light bleed out from underneath them. They will be on a timer. They only go on for a few hours because people don't park out there at night, right? We have adequate setback to all property lines, to the building. We looked through the referrals that we got, and there was all positive. The rain drips right through these things on the ground, and the stormwater flows just the exact same way it flows now. I have a facsimile of one, well, not a facsimile, but analogous. It's this a similar one here. This shows, this is a trussed version, but you can see the two panels that are lifted up here. It's only a 2% slope, so it's not like a roof, you know, 'cause you've heard of people getting whacked when the snow comes off the roof because the roofs are 10, 12 pitch. But this is really flat, so the snow really stays there, and it drips through and hits the pavement down here where the cars will be parked, and it just runs off like it regularly does. This system here is not the exact system we're using, but this one shows a spread footing. We've done the geotech out there, and they're designing the foundations right now. That's not done by my office. It's done by Stevens and Associates. But I got a packet of information today that I think I sent over in Permitize, and it shows all the modules, the panels, the insurance certificates, the interconnection agreement, and all the documents that the board has requested in their bylaw. And I think this just shows fencing, but I don't even think we have fencing on this one. These are just standard pictures. All right, that's pretty much it. There's going to be 2 rows of posts in this one. They're going to fall right in the center line of the parking stalls that are up there, if you can see them up here. So there'll be one line of posts right there and one line of posts right there. So we're not going to lose any parking. And I guess I can answer any questions you guys may have.
Okay, thank you. Tom?
Paul?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I don't see anything in this application on the size of the panels, numbers or anything. It just says site plan review for a proposed solar system. But there's no indication anywhere in the narrative anywhere else how many panels, how big it is, or what the...
I do have that, and do have that in an SED drawing at my office. I don't have it with me. I could supply it to the board. You have it?
Blue highlighted, it says 250 kW AC.
250. I'm sorry, maybe if I can roll down.
You're saying that's it?
Can I zoom in? Oh, yeah, 150.
Well, it's not in the narrative of the write-up or anywhere. I gotta search for it on the drawing.
It's 150 kilowatts AC.
Pretty small amount, no big deal.
That's a small one.
Any other questions, Paul?
Not on this one,
Comments?
no.
Okay. Charlotte?
I wonder if you could bring that information sort of down to my level. How much electricity will that produce? And does it go to the school, or does it go to the grid, or?
They've already said it goes right to the school, directly wired in, it's 150 kilowatts.
I think the school has a power, or the town has a power purchase agreement with Select.
I know it's not part of the site plan, I'm just curious.
Hi, Stephanie Mattson, the Sustainability Specialist for Falmouth. This project, we're talking about North Falmouth Elementary, correct?
Yep.
Right now? The size is about 225 kW DC, and in the illustration, you can see it's 150 kW AC. It will cover, it's considered behind the meter, so all electrons will go to the school, and it's estimated to cover 88% of their electricity use.
Thank you.
Sure.
That's a lot.
That's nice, 88% is pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's great. And good
There it
parking.
is.
All set? Jim?
How much is this gonna cost?
Well, that's right, that's
Stephanie
okay.
Mattson.
No, but I mean, I just want to know,
This-
we're now when it's generated, I just want to see what we paid for it.
It's structured as a power purchase agreement,
Okay, so it's built into
no
the cost of the
upfront-
energy.
no upfront capital cost
There
at
you go.
all. We're going to
Very
be
good.
paying monthly at a discounted rate. It'll save us money.
Great.
All right, she's got all the answers. I'm going to let her do the presentation.
And you said all the electric's going to go underground to the building?
Yes, sir.
No poles? Perfect. So, you want to vote this tonight?
You can draft a positive motion for next meeting. We can do that.
That's what I meant, vote for a positive.
I vote we put a positive motion together for next meeting.
Okay.
Recommending,
Public
please,
comment.
Oh, public comment.
propose. Somebody has to
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry,
comment.
public comment, I apologize.
Thank you.
Sorry, we jumped the gun.
Will Clark, Longview Road, which is one of the abutters, and I think it sounds like a great project. I'm a little concerned about runoff. You know, when they did that parking lot and the field behind it, it really disrupted the vernal pool that's in that area. You know, a lot of water went down there. This seems like a much smaller project, but has that been, and I know you said that the runoff after it's built will not change, but in the construction process, has that been considered?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
No, he's going to answer your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm not sure what you're asking, and I'm going to try to clarify it so I can, get you the right answer. The water that falls there now is just going to keep going where it goes.
Right, but during the, you have to be doing excavation and
Oh,
stuff during
yeah,
the project.
during
And I know when they-
construction.
As I say, when they built that parking lot,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of water.
Yeah, there's going to be about 12 posts. You can see them here like
Yeah.
this. They basically auger a hole, 3 foot deep. They pour concrete in it, they scoop up the dirt and take it off, and that's it.
Are you going to put any hay bales up to protect?
We do have silt sacks and
Yeah.
catch basins that are nearby,
Okay.
but there's really not a lot of land disturbance that goes with this.
But you are taking the runoff into consideration in
Yes,
the
sir.
process. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else, please?
Hi, Ed Giordano. I live across the street. Got an easy question. The existing lighting on in the parking lot back there on the poles, that's on all night. you said that the new lighting's going to be on timers. Is that lighting, is the existing lighting going away?
Yes, the existing lighting can't go up to the canopy.
Sorry, you have to speak into the microphone, please, for the people at home.
Yeah, the lighting that's in the parking lot now is going to be removed.
Going to be removed.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's taller than the array.
okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public?
Now, gonna make,
Yes, I move that we draft a positive motion for the next meeting. Second by Charlotte.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, thank you.
I lost track.
can I ask an uncalled for question? Is this one in a series of putting these over all of the school parking lots? All the town parking lots?
Stephanie Mattson. We're starting off with the two easiest projects that you can't see from the road. We want there to be some success with people in the town, and then we will pursue perhaps more carports.
Thank you.
All right. Next hearing, applicant Select Energy on behalf of the town of Falmouth. Site plan review application for installation of a carport-mounted solar photovoltaic PV system within an existing paved parking area, Lot C, at Falmouth High School located at 1200 Gifford Street Extension. Tom?
Mr. Chairman, public notice for this project was published on January 23rd, 2026, and 49 abutters were notified by regular mail.
Oh, thank you.
Desktop.
And for the applicant?
For the applicant, Stuart Clark with Green Seal Environmental for Select Energy. Again, we're here in front of you on another solar canopy at the high school this time. There has been a slight change to this one, but this is existing conditions plan. High school's over here, staff parking here, the grandstands for the football field are here. I'm going to roll down and you'll see that they were proposing to put the solar canopy here. It's 200 kilowatts. But I do have, and the board will let me approach, a new plan where we're going to shift the array closer to the monopole up there.
Thank you.
Just because trying to put the pylons or the footings right up against.
You'll have to repeat yourself when you get to the microphone. It's just for the people at home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So as you can see, the canopy as proposed on the original plans show this column line right up against the fence that demarcates the football field. Constructability on that is difficult, so the applicant wants to shift it up. So it'll be in this area now. And so this line here will be here, and this line of columns will be right on the other side of the parking spaces up there. That's the only small change that they had. Again, power will drop down underground and run up the side of the driveway, cross over and interconnect with the school system. Stephanie could probably answer how much of that is going to, take up with the school's energy, but I don't have those numbers.
Is it a similar design as the other school? Little,
Yes, exactly. Exact same scenario.
no loss of parking?
No loss of parking, no, sir.
All right, thank you. Stephanie, please.
Stephanie Mattson, Sustainability Specialist. This project is larger than the other one, yet it will only cover 15% of the usage at the high school. It's the biggest school. It uses a lot of energy. It has air conditioning, in which many of the other schools don't. We hope in the future we could add additional solar carports in that vicinity. But we looked into putting one near the tennis courts. but there's not a transformer in that area, and to dig a conduit back to connect in the school so the energy is behind the meter was very costly. So this is what we're doing for now. It still helps, being 15% of the energy usage, but we hope to add more to that site.
Thank you.
And I've been making little flyers for every school to show that we can highlight in front of the school to add educational perspective, to share with people when they walk in the students in particular, so they can see that solar is helping power their energy use at the school.
Fantastic.
Put that 15% into dollar terms. Total energy cost is X, and the 15% is...
Yes, so for the high school, we estimate that they will save the first year over $13,000, close to $14,000 for the utility bill. And that will just only increase, and that's conservative.
And that's for 1 year.
For 1 year.
And- Right, and the cost of this is?
There is no cost to the town, no capital cost. We're structuring it as a power purchase agreement.
Uh-huh.
So we just pay a monthly bill that is discounted.
And set for so many years? Is that what
It's set for, this one's 25 years at a fixed rate, and that's unusual to find. So it was a great deal.
It's quite a deal.
Almost as good as the landfill EDIC deal, which is like the best.
We were lucky. The timing was really good on that project. I think it's the best one on Cape Cod.
It's unbelievable. And I keep saying, whoever got that passed did an
Very
amazing
lucky.
job.
They need a pay raise, don't they?
Yeah.
Double my pay.
Yeah, that's a great project. I appreciate the work you put into that.
All right, any questions or comments from the audience? None? Any questions from the board?
No,
Comments?
but it's a good project,
Paul
thank you.
has a
Great
question or
project.
comment?
It is.
And just so that, I've been doing these for the last 2-3 years. I've done like 70 of them. And a lot of schools, municipal parking lots. We're just doing them everywhere, because I think the state is incentivizing people to put them over paved areas instead of mowing down the woods.
Right. I suppose eventually they'll go down one side of Main Street where all the asphalt is.
Yeah, there's all that parking out behind there, right?
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
He has a question
Oh.
for you.
Sorry.
Same comment. The write-up does not include anything about the size or anything. You have to look on the drawing, as you indicated, it's a little bit bigger.
I
But
will-
it should be in the write-up.
I'll upload that to Permitize.
I looked
next
all
meeting.
over and I couldn't find it, and I didn't see it there. But the second issue is you're moving this site, well,
I didn't even see
the
that.
first is Lot C, Lot 2.
Now they were there, yeah.
There's no indication where it is in the drawings. I couldn't find Lot C. But at any rate,
I just read the front page.
you've moved this further north.
Yes.
There's that very huge tower.
Right.
How does that interfere with this whole project?
Well, it's on the
Doesn't-
north side, so from shading perspective, it's not going to affect us.
It's a very big tower. I don't know how many feet it is
Yeah,
tall.
it's very big.
What is it?
I think it's a cell phone tower. I'm not sure what it is.
Got a lot of material on it for a telephone pole.
I don't know.
At any rate,
I don't even know what it is.
I don't think it's a cell tower.
No?
no, I don't know
No.
what it is.
Weather station?
I don't know, but we're putting a new cell tower in across the street, so I doubt
Oh.
that it's a cell tower. Not we, but an applicant is.
I drove up there and I tried to find out where it was. The only orientation was the ball field. Didn't show how you get from
Yeah.
different street on in. There was no site plan, so
I
I had a
actually
little
done an overall
difficulty with it.
plan
But
for
I
you.
wandered around with this for quite a while, and I realized, unfortunately, I didn't see the size of it on the drawing. Thank you.
I'll keep that in mind for future.
Any questions? No. Okay,
Should we make a motion to approve?
please.
Same motion as last time.
You want to make it?
I make a motion, we draft approval for next meeting.
Positive motion, yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Stephanie, for the additional information.
Stuart, real quick, did you upload the revised plan to Permitize yet?
Yes.
You did, great. All right, terrific.
You ever go on Permitize?
What? No. No, where is it?
Town's website.
Advertise?
All the permits, everything's on.
With the shift.
Everything.
Yeah, I haven't revised those plans.
Are you-
That's just what they sketched and sent me on Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay.
Use, and I should, it's the GIS.
When you do that, when you have
Yeah,
chance, can you?
I'll update the plans, so they're correct.
See me.
Thank you.
Now with me, let me teach you. I'm an expert at that.
I would like to.
Just come see me.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is planning, sorry?
Planning department.
Planning Department report.
Thank
We
you.
got a window.
Sorry?
We got a window. Takeout window.
You do have a window, right, so Paul wants me to report on the movement of the planning staff. So as we talked about in the previous meetings, we've officially moved from our location, which was above the town manager's office, over to next to the zoning board of appeals. We're still working through the process of getting the windows in place. Facilities has been just tremendous there. And so we should be fully functional, I think, by the end of next week. We're, making things work, but if you come to visit us, you'll see what I mean.
I didn't see the dogs when they went up there.
Well, that's the next phase. We've got to pick a wall that's going to be able to fit 1,000 dogs. That's the goal. No, all kidding aside. So we have made a lot of strides getting rid of a lot of our paper files. We've moved all that out of that space. So we'll have more space to move around in that area. So we're very excited about that.
Good.
One
It
item.
had been repainted. I went up there today to take a look. It's really spacious, but it looks as if it's been repainted. And the people who were there must not have been allowed to tape anything to the walls. And they just were very tidy about being there.
I think if you look closely, you might see different.
Oh, maybe if I could see better.
Yeah.
Maybe
We all
that's
have
it.
that problem.
But it looks good, and it's really spacious. It's nice.
Some areas are nice and some areas need a little love. That's all. Which is fine. So the only thing I wanted to report this evening under this agenda item is the correspondence that you have in your packets. It's related to seasonal communities. We provided, the state just released last week the final regulations for seasonal communities. And so we included that in the packet for this evening, along with the presentation that they provided at the info session that they held, where they were basically announcing that the draft, the final regulations would be coming out very soon. They provided, they being the state, the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, provided a lot of really helpful information about what this means. And so we bring it to you as this agenda item. I would suggest for the next meeting that you, if you want to discuss it in detail, we put it on the agenda and we can go through what this means and what the planning board will likely have to do if town meeting approves the designation or accepts the designation at town meeting in April.
Where is it in the packet?
It's the last,
What I would prefer is to wait maybe one more meeting until Pat's here.
Okay. Whatever you'd like. Gives us more time to
I'd
put
rather have a
together.
full board, and she always has great insight like everyone else on the board.
not that. Next thing. Charlotte, it's after that.
After this?
Yeah.
It's more paperwork.
All right, I'll take that.
Just make sure that you read it when you go home tonight.
Jed, it appeared to me that the final from the state was a little different than what the presentation was.
Yeah, I was just reading some of it, and I was not necessarily surprised, but there are definitely some changes from the draft regulations that have been on the
Right.
state's website for some time.
So better just to read the actual decision.
Yeah, just read the regulations, the
Right.
final regulation.
Well, and I think people should also read what Mass Municipal thinks of it. That would be very, there's a lot of information about it on the web, but what Mass Municipal has to say and whether or not it's advisable for towns, it's certainly worth reading, and it's worth knowing that there's already a law that anyone could put up a tiny house in Massachusetts. There's been a law on that for a couple of years, so we don't need a new law about tiny houses.
I got a question. Is it an à la carte menu, or do we just we have to get everything if we say yes, or can we pick and choose?
Well, again, without going too far astray, so this is just a report. So if you want to talk about in more detail the seasonal communities, I advise you put it on the agenda and we can have a conversation about it.
I've read everything. I'm prepared to discuss it. That's all I have to do until we have our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, I'm all set. I
Yes,
just
your
want to know.
your homework is done.
John, did you say it won't be the next meeting?
Won't be, want to wait till the meeting after, for Pat to come back.
Okay,
Give her a chance to come back.
sure.
It'll be like 4 weeks from now, probably, right?
March, probably.
We surely want to have our conversation before town meeting.
Well, we will. Even if we have to take a whole night and talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
How's that?
One item I do want to report, and I forgot to mention it at the last meeting, but it's really important, and you folks are probably, yes. You're welcome. You folks are likely waiting for this, well, you have been for a while. So the Cape Cod Commission has finally given us a draft design guideline for the mixed residential and commercial overlay district. So it's a lengthy document. It's in draft form, so we're taking a first pass at it to make sure it includes everything that we were looking for. Once we get final comments back from them, or they address all of our comments, we'll be bringing it to you folks so that you get an idea as to what they have drafted for us. But now, of course, that I'm talking out loud, I might want to just bring the draft itself to you, and you can provide comments.
Send us a link like you usually do, just a
Yep.
little blue link and we click on.
It's a large attachment, it's like 70-something megs, so
Just send the
But I
link.
don't want
find a
the
way to
paper,
share
I
it.
want the link.
The good news is they've completed at least the draft, and we'd like you to take a look at it.
Good.
That's something we've been talking about for a long time, isn't it? Yeah, I almost forgot about it. It's been so
We almost
long.
did too. There's been so much going on. So it's the last piece that we're dealing with the commission, so we're excited.
Does that absolutely wipe out forever our effort of years past to do something about form-based zoning?
No,
No?
no. All the design guidelines do is essentially create a guardrail system for developers to understand what you want to see for any application that is in the mixed residential and commercial overlay district. So you're basically telling them, this is what we want to see, design your project in this way.
Okay, so form-based zoning, I don't know where it is on the agenda, but it's still there somewhere, and we still have something from Union Studios on it,
Yes, we do. Yes.
if we ever get to it.
Yeah.
Chairman to bring that along.
Well, we need to have the time for it.
I would suggest that if you want to talk about it in detail, we put it on the agenda, and we can, I can explain to you what the challenges exist in bringing that forward, because there are some
It's okay with John,
challenges.
he's got some sort of plan going over there, I don't want to interfere with it, but when it's okay.
I have a plan.
That's what it sounded like.
Well, I can just tell you that at a couple of the meetings at the Cape Cod Commission, I discussed this with representative from one of the towns, and they do not like it at all. And I discussed with another person from another town, and they love it. How's that?
Oh, so mixed. Must be America.
Must be.
Okay,
That's it for us, unless, Melinda, you have something?
committee reports?
That's it for us?
Committee reports.
Short-term rental is going to be on the warrant, so it's going to town meeting. I hope that it gets very positive hearing and result. We'll see. And I think when you get a chance to read it, Jed's going to send it around so you all get a chance to look at it. And the whole idea of it is that what we're doing right now is okay, but we don't want it to grow in unlikely directions corporately or to extend itself much. So I don't think you'll find much in it to object to, and the whole thing will depend upon good implementation and funded implementation.
All right.
John?
Yeah, go ahead.
The EDIC is going to be, I think Jed will be doing it, but we now have, Union Station has provided us with the drawings and site plans for the proposed development at the station. And they're public information now, and we'll be setting up a joint meeting, or Jed will be handling the scheduling to bring it to the meeting. I was just announcing, I saw them today, and they are out, and I will be talking about them at other venues. So it's out there, so we should discuss it with this group so they're not the last to find out.
Is it mixed use?
It's much better.
Are you back on the board?
Yeah, I have been for a couple of months now.
Is it a mixed use or?
No, it's not mixed use, it's just pure residential.
Residential sort of semi-dormitory.
Not as much as before. You know what it is? You'll find, I was very pleased. One of the reasons why I decided to get back on the board, I went to a meeting about it, and it looked very much like the buildings when we did a survey of how we wanted our housing to look like, our housing survey that Union Studios did. It's almost like they took exactly what we wanted them to do and gave it back to us. So I said, wow, they're finally listening to us, as opposed to a big mammoth studio. That's one of the reasons why I left. I was disagreeing with the way they were going. And I'm much more in agreement. I think well, it's Union Studios. You'll recognize it. It looks like we've had a hand in it already.
And it's a perfect segue to what I was just talking about with the design guidelines. Again, you put out, the board, put out this document and say to developers, we want you to create housing or development that looks like this.
And we're getting what we asked for, I think.
Yeah, that's the idea.
It's nice to see.
This is the third revision of housing there, at least.
Well, I know of two. We might have missed one because I left the board for about 5 years.
I've only seen one so far.
This
will
was
be the
nice. You
second
like
one.
it?
Yeah.
Any committee reports?
No, I have a water quality meeting tomorrow, and I'll
That'd be
give a
fun.
report
Oh,
next
no
meeting.
kidding.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Good. Tom?
Falmouth Recreation Department, the building, those solar panels, speaking of solar, decommissioned January of this year. New panels are being installed in February by Katuitt Solar, and that should take care of 78% of our bill over there, the rec department. Yeah,
Where are they going to be installed at, Tom?
on the front of the building, I believe.
On the roof?
Believe
Or in the
so.
parking lot?
The roof.
Okay.
And then Bell Tower Playground, Woods Hole, they have a fully executed contract, and Lawrence Lynch will complete the work.
Oh, fantastic. That's it. Any other reports?
You just have a piece of correspondence in your packets from Ann Pride.
This doesn't count, does it?
No, that's just directly to you.
Was that in the package you sent us?
The Ann Pride?
Was
This?
in the correspondence, was one of the links?
Yeah, it was in it.
Yeah.
I must have missed it.
Tom, do you find it? You want to read it?
Want me to read it? Yep, okay. So emails from Ann Pride on East Falmouth. The Town of Falmouth Planning Board, dear members of the Falmouth Planning Board, I write today to urge the board to consider future zoning and development policies that require or strongly encourage mixed-use design in all new retail development. In a town like Falmouth, where we face pressing needs for affordable workforce housing, a retail-only building represents a missed opportunity to build homes for those who sustain our local economy. By incorporating residential units above retail spaces, we utilize our town's limited land more efficiently. Mixed-use development can add housing in densely populated areas, while simultaneously boosting the vibrancy of our commercial areas. Retail tenants benefit from residents living above, creating a mutually supportive environment. Most importantly, it ensures that we are prioritizing homes for year-round and seasonal workers who are essential to Falmouth's economy. Falmouth is trying to balance its natural beauty with thoughtful growth. Making mixed-use development a standard for new development construction would align with our long-term housing goals, ensuring every project contributes to a more livable, equitable future. Thank you for your leadership in shaping Falmouth's future, and I appreciate your thoughtful consideration of this suggestion. Sincerely, Ann S. Pride.
Thank you.
Good letter.
Yeah, nicely written.
Very good letter.
Well done, for sure.
There should be some way of letting her know that we agree with her.
Just did.
This is it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it for general correspondence? Anything else? So, next meeting, February 24th?
Yes.
What about future agenda items?
Oh, I thought I said that, but go ahead.
You and I had discussed that we're going to try to bring back transfer of development rights, a discussion on that. That's been, and what came up is John said, before we do that, we need to know how many small lots we are. And I pointed out to John, I think over a year ago, I asked you guys to give a list of the small lots. He doesn't want to proceed with evaluating this until we get that information. I mean, is it simple enough now that I can go to AI and just have them do it?
I mean, you can ask AI to do it. The question is whether or not it's accurate.
Whether it works or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll have our GIS coordinator take a look at that. That shouldn't take her very long.
5,000 square foot lots and up?
5,000 and up to where?
Well, I thought I would thought it'd be 4,800. There's a small, the Mara Vista small lot. Mara Vista, the whole thing was designed when it laid out to 4,500 square foot lots, the whole place. So there was a ton of them. I think we should probably, that's the smallest subdivision plan that I know. Anyone know of anyone smaller?
No.
So I think I would use 4,500.
To what? 45 to 10,000?
Yeah, we're only looking at the small lots, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm building, not me, a client of mine's building a 2,000 square foot house for $1.5 million on a 4,500 square foot lot in Mara Vista.
Nice.
It fits. It's on the sewer. That's the magic, that's the magic to it. You don't have to have that leaching field.
The neighbors will hate it.
So we've got seasonal communities likely in March, TDR likely in March, and then zoning amendments that you'll likely need to bring forward in November. We'll start that conversation in March as well.
Just keep it in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
We'd like to get somewhere before the state gets us there. That's our thought. Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.